Hey y'all, so today's video is going to be a bit more serious than normal. Today we're going to be talking about World of T-shirts, aka Joshua Block. You've probably seen him before. He has 2.5 million followers and is most known for this video. In New York! I can't play the entire video, of course, because it's based around the very copyrighted song, so I can't play that one. Now, if you're already familiar with what he's been doing as of late, like lately, you're gonna know where this is going. So let's look at just the thumbnails for the recent ones, right? In this, there's beer. In this, there's alcohol. In this, there's a White Claw. In this, there's a shot. In this, there's a shot. In this, there's alcohol. In this, there's alcohol. In this, there's alcohol. As of late, he has been getting extremely drunk every single day. Every single day. And if you don't know, this is very common with autistic people. Don't matter necessarily where on the spectrum they lie. It is very common because it makes it easier to socialize. And if you have autism, it creates a barrier. It's very difficult. It is very difficult to socialize with people. So it's extremely common. And from what we can tell, at least as outsiders looking in, based on what he posts online, because he posts multiple videos a day and goes live for very long stretches of time at night when he is blackout drunk, there's really nobody taking care of him, nobody trying to help him, no support system, it seems. And I kind of want to just like talk about that. If you want an example of how bad the alcoholism is, here's this.
Oh my God.
Just to recap that video, it is him taking a shot, taking a sip of a mixed drink, throwing up into the mixed drink, wiping himself off, and then continuing to drink out of the mixed drink that he just threw up in. There's this account here, World of Alcohol Tracker. They go through all the videos that Joshua posts in a day and make a spreadsheet of every single drink that he's drank, the blood alcohol content he's most likely to have from that. And there's a summary at the end, and I'll show you one of these summaries. So this right here is how much alcohol he drank November 27th, just a couple days ago. And if you look through here, he had 20.5 total drinks, 0.29 blood alcohol content. That's crazy. That is so over the legal limit. He spent $146 on alcohol without tip, because he was at bars and stuff, so there's tip and stuff. That right there, all that together, all the drinks he had, is somewhere around 3,900 calories. He spent 1 hour sober that day. If he stopped drinking at midnight and then was to go on with his day, he would not be sober, not be fully sober until 4 the next day. 4 p.m. the next day. And this is not even the worst of it. There was one day, if he did not stop drinking at midnight, he would have been drunk till 9 p.m. That is so crazy. And he do this like every single day. He's getting blackout to that point every single day. And typically when he's blackout, he'll go on live to get like gifts and stuff on TikTok live or whatever to make some money. And he, as you saw in that one live clip that I showed you, it's hard to watch sometimes. Now, important person to talk about in this whole saga is this motherfucker Michael Quinn right here. Listen, I was gonna add my personal opinion in here like crazy. This motherfucker, Michael Quinn, is a horrible person, literally evil. So if you don't know Mike here, he runs some like knockoff restaurant in New York, makes some money from that, right? And he's very clout hungry, but has no discernible talents or anything to offer the world. No humor, nothing. So he just follows around Josh. He found where he was one day, started following him around. He started paying for his alcohol, acting like he's super charitable, looking out for him. And later was like, oh no, I was trying to get him to stop drinking when he was helping fuel his alcoholism. And I was not gonna play the video. I was not gonna show it because he's a leech. He's a leech and he wants clout so bad. So I was gonna talk about it as little as possible, but I still need to talk about them because there's other weird things about this. And this is just clips. There's so much content that World T-shirt puts out and this guy puts out. It is really a lot to go through. I spent hours going through like today, and then throughout the past week or two, I've been spending a lot of time just like in my free time, like trying to find clips. It's really hard to watch.
That's a lubricant that women use to lubricate their pussy.
I can't play the entire thing because, again, there's copyrighted music in the background. But this is one of Michael Quinn's friends or whoever that is talking to Josh about sex, which is fine. It's like, I'm not saying you can't talk about sex with autistic people. Autistic people have sex. It's normal. But when it's clearly these men who is like 30, 40 years older than this dude, who's stalked this autistic guy, started just hanging around him, paying for his alcohol, and just like saying weird things about sex to him, it becomes very weird. I was not even trying to paint a narrative that they might be doing stuff to him. It's not that. There's no proof of that, and I don't think it makes a lot of sense. But it is just very odd and very strange. It is very gross and despicable.
I'll never get to see Italy ever again. It was a once-in-a-lifetime trip. I'll never get to see Italy ever again.
So what you see here is Michael live on TikTok while Josh is having a drunk meltdown about something, crying. And Michael is just playing it on his live so he can get gifts and get some sort of clout, money, and attention from this. This motherfucker is elite. He is a despicable person. He is despicable. And you might be wondering, how do he pay for this? Like, how do Josh support like what he's doing? How much alcohol he's spending? Because keep in mind, he don't have a place to stay. From everything I could find, he stays in hotels and Airbnbs, which is incredibly expensive to do on a permanent situation in New York City. So how do we fund this? It looks like it's through Cameo, TikTok. So that's like TikTok Live and whatever creator programs that TikTok is running at the moment. And then he do tours around New York, around some of the boroughs. And then he also has a like clothes website, which is where like his name comes from, World of T-shirts, where he sells like merch and stuff. Here is one of the Cameo videos. Not everyone's like this. A lot of them is very normal, just like wholesome kind of vibes, like, oh, happy birthday, or like da-da-da. And there's quite a few that is kind of just taking advantage of this autistic person. Like, autistic people have ownership of their actions, but it's very clear when someone's taking advantage of somebody.
My name is Josh, or you can call me Mazza. I don't really like when my niece disobey me. When I disobey Quinn, he spanks me. When the poor disobey me, I whip them. You gotta go big poopy in my diaper. Quinn has to lick it up.
He is still a person. He's still responsible for his own actions. He said some pretty horrific shit in that. Now, it's not his words. You could tell he's reading off of it. And from the way it's laughing, it really reminds me of back in high school when there'd be like some autistic guy in school, some autistic kid with us, and then a bunch of guys would go over and kind of mess with them and like make fun of him and bully him. But he wouldn't really understand that's what's going on, and he liked the attention he was getting, so he'd laugh with them even though they're just laughing at him. This is what it kind of reminds me of. The way he's laughing, it feels very reminiscent of that. And again, he's an adult. He knows that stuff's wrong, most likely. Again, I'm not a doctor. I can't say that, but it's this weird nuanced situation where he's like saying fucked up things because he's being egged on by people, given money by these people, you know, and he needs money because he has like this addiction to fuel and he needs like places to live and stuff. But then on top of it, you know, there's the bigotry, there's the racism here. And then here is his website for his tours. The tours cost $30, I think, per person. So very expensive, right? Very expensive. And prices can vary sometimes, I think, but typically, you know, it's a pretty expensive thing. Actually, I looked through here. It is a $30 non-refundable deposit per guest. It is $50 per guest in total. So then you'll have to pay $20, but there is 2 like drinks that's included with their da-da-da. And there's multiple videos online of people going on tour, being on live with him and all these different things. And kind of exploiting him in this way. And yes, they paid for the experience, but then making the content out of it, all this stuff. Now, here's a Reddit post. I will link this in the description so you can go read it for yourself. But it describes the tour. So pretty much they have the tour, then afterwards, they kind of don't know when the tour ends, but they just hanging out with them and they're getting drinks. They never pressured him, they say, but they was drinking with him and he continued to get belligerent, like so drunk. And then these people who paid for the tour had to pretty much take care of him and like try and get him somewhere safe. And it's just this really, really sad situation where here's this person who, if he wasn't making all this like money on social media, which I don't know how much he's making because he always says he's living paycheck to paycheck, which might be true given how much he has to pay to survive because he don't have permanent residence. He has to pay for hotels and Airbnbs, it seems, as well as his alcohol consumption and other costs for like just living and stuff, clothes, food, healthcare, whatever the fuck. Given the lifestyle, maybe he's living paycheck to paycheck. Like that could be very, very true. But it's a situation where he's getting so drunk so consistently, and he's in a big city like New York. He could easily be taken advantage of, whether it's money or something else. It is incredibly dangerous for him to be doing this constantly. Even just like the health stuff from the alcohol alone, like he's never sober. He blacks out like every single night. He's like, that alone is enough to like kill you. Not to mention the calories that come from that much alcohol. Like, you know, like, I don't know his medical health, but like, that's an easy way to become pre-diabetic and then diabetic. There's a lot of health complications that come from prolonged alcoholism. Not to mention the things that other people might do to him while he's inebriated or just in general, because it is a very consistent thing where people will stalk him and then harass him in public and like curse at him and all these different things. It's a very consistent pattern. And yes, he's able to find where he is. Because like New York, there's a lot of people, like you can find people, but also he posts his location, like he streams while he's out and stuff. So there's not really a lot of like digital online safety when it comes to him on his end. But again, I was not trying to victim blame him, because from what I can tell, this is a person who is on the spectrum, very much so, who posts consistently and constantly because he needs the money, first of all. And number two, he likes the attention. Like again, eyes not severely autistic, whatever the hell. But I remember I used to have to study comedians and actors and like celebrity interviews and stuff to work on how I present myself, how I communicate with people, because I just was really bad at it. I would make people laugh at school and stuff, but it was like, oh, they thought that was funny, but it's like, yeah, that's funny, but you still fucking annoying. You know what I mean? And I remember in high school, I started to get followers. I started to have an account on TikTok, get like 200K like followers and stuff, and get like millions of views and likes and stuff. And it's addicting. It's addicting for me, who is just someone who had a hard time socializing with people. Coupled with like severe autism, I can't imagine. I can't imagine the addiction that comes from that. From the gamified nature of how notifications work on TikTok and these other platforms, coupled in with the fact that he probably felt like an outcast due to his autism and the fact, you know, proximity to neurotypical people. It's very hard to relate as an autistic person. It's really sad. There's so many elements at play that's like not doing well for the guy. Apparently his mom died when he was young. His dad's still around. I don't know where he's, I don't know what's going on. It's really sad. It's really sad. But to bring it back to his alcoholism, I was not gonna play this video. It's not gonna play this video. It is a video of him, what seems to be like very drunk in midday, pissing on the sidewalk somewhere in New Jersey. And it's extremely sad for multiple reasons, you know, the alcoholism, the harassment he receives, and it's very clear that it seems like the majority of his audience don't actually care about him. They view him not as a person, but as a spectacle. And I think that's very common for autistic creators in general, even just disregarding the antics or whatever. I see it all the time of autistic creators or creators with Down syndrome get dehumanized to a point. And like, obviously people with whatever disabilities like should be able to post online. Like they should be able to do that. Like they have agency. These people, they should be able to do what they want to do, right? But time and time again, especially when they don't have someone there to like help them and monitor stuff, the audience can get very vile very quickly. It becomes a situation, especially I think in the case of Josh here, where not only is there the financial aspect, but also just like the social aspect. You know, like when you watch his videos, you can clearly see he's so giddy from like being recognized, from the attention he receives. And I get it. I do. I've been there. He's like hooked on it. Like he's addicted. And he either ignores or don't necessarily fully see always when people is obviously taking advantage of him. Because people will find him. Like where he was in Amsterdam. People found him and like followed them around. Like he gets harassed where he goes, and you know he posts his location at all times pretty much, and it's just really sad. It's because like yes, the antics is there, and I understand why people would view that in some like voyeuristic sense, but I feel like the audience here is also to a point at fault. Like it's a collective people, it's a group of people, but it's at fault. Like the way they interact with them, the way that people interact with them, even going through the Reddit that I went through, like the World of T-Shirts Reddit, it is the way people even there like talk about him and treat him. They don't talk about him like he's a person. Like yes, they's worried about him. Yes, they's this. Yes, they's that. But they make jokes at his expense like all the time. And like in these YouTube videos, they talk about like the gravity of the situation, all this stuff, and then they make a joke like at his expense. And it's yes, I guess you see his humanity to some degree, but he's been dehumanized so much by his audience that they just treat him like a spectacle, like a character in a show, and it's really sad. And like if there's someone in his life, like actually like help him, please, because people talk like, oh, like, you know, like this is like really deadly, like 3 or 4 years, like, you know, he might not make it tomorrow. The amount of alcohol he's consuming, you know, given how drunk he is in public all the time, and because he is someone who's autistic, he has had autistic meltdowns, you know, and that coupled with the alcohol can create a very, very overwhelming situation for someone who has autism. And there's videos of people harassing him while he's having a meltdown, while he's having a clear meltdown. And it's not just like strangers. This is people who know who he is that harassed him because it's him. Yeah, he's done some pretty fucked up things. Like there's stuff I didn't even mention in this because it's just, it'd be so long to talk about this stuff. Like he once jumped on this fish that was alive and crushed it and laughed. And he said he thought it was dead, but still, why did you jump on it? And stuff. He gets like egged on by people, and then he do something that's fucked up, and then everyone turns on him and is like, why did you do that, when he was like clearly being egged on to do something. But he also has agency, and it's really sad. It's this really like nuanced situation, and it's, I know I just keep saying it's sad over, but I was getting emotional thinking about it. I hope someone helps him, you know, get stable housing, like go through some sort of like recovery, like from alcohol or something, and gets him away from those Quinn people, like those weird ass motherfuckers. Like, and honestly, probably time away from the internet would do him a lot of good. I doubt he's gonna be watching this or like even take it seriously, because people's pointed out his alcoholism to him and he denies it. He always rejects it. But if there's someone there or him watching this, please just help him or help yourself. Like, come on. Like, I don't know. It's really sad. If you like this video, subscribe, comment down below. You can give money to my Patreon, $2 a month, to help support. Comment your thoughts. Yeah. Have a good day.